Hello everyone, my name is Sohyung from Kyunggi University, and my co-worker is Jiyoung Park from Seoul International Institution Dongbei University. We are studying the building the sustainable digital supply chain based on the case of Grab. So first of all, thank you for having me this presentation. So in this study, we are analyze the sustainable digital supply chain through this case study of Grab, the #1 in-hailing service in Southeast Asia. So let me introduce this case study. Before starting our presentation, this is the timetable of this content. First, I'm going to explain the background of this study, and second, I'm going to tell you what is the Grab, the company instruction, and third, I'm going to explain the macro and micro analysis and best practice, and finally I will wrap up this kind of case study, and I'm going to introduce all kinds of references. So before starting this presentation, we are asking some kind of questions. How can we have a safer way to hail a ride? And what if we could make just a little bit easier with IT technology? Or can we give the drivers the safe, better working conditions? Or why can't we live the life without the cash? Is there any secured service to connect the local supplies? So we are starting these kind of questions, and we study the Grab case study from these all kind of questions. So mobile app, the Grab success. This starts with these few questions. As I told you, the Grab was nominated as the world's second most innovative company in 2019. So during the COVID-19 pandemic situation, not only in Malaysia but also Southeast Asian countries, Grab is enjoying the unprecedented fast growth. Grab is very well known for ranked #1 in in-hailing app service in Southeast Asia, which provide various services to their customers, such as convenient booking service for private cars and or taxis, and even the comfort food delivery service from the restaurant, grocery, mart, express service from door to door, hotel booking service on demand. So all kind of things that the Grab have. And let me explain the background of this study. So think about my life with Grab in Malaysia and Singapore, and everyday Grab using in life, easy and very fast, and economic growth with Grab. So enormous performance during the COVID-19. Why are lots of academic interested in doing research in Grab? Because Grab is spotlighted from the various academic as a representative case study in terms of the sharing economy and disruptive innovation and open platform for digital supply chain. So Grab would like to be the first everyday super app in Southeast Asia region. Since Uber exists in Malaysia market in March 2018 and is merged by Grab, and Grab holds the leading position in this sector steadily and consistently over the years. So the net income reached $2.3 billion, and number of employees recorded 6,000 in 2019. So we are thinking about the super app in South Asian region, the Grab, and um, in Malaysia they are competing with Uber and Gojek too. And according to the Grab CEO Anthony Tan, he said Grab has a vision to be a multi-modal service provider that serves seamless mobility service within one app. Due to Grab service consumers will have their most important everyday needs fulfilled. Here are several satisfied evidence on Grab service operation in Malaysia interviewed from the Korean businessman in Kuala Lumpur. And he said, I arrived at KL airport in January 2017. I tried to call a taxi, but the passenger next to me suggested me to use the Grab application to go to the destination. That was the first experience with his remarkable app in my life, he said. And in Korea, we didn't have this kind of service at this moment. So he said, I was very surprised, he said, and at IT service and developed it in Malaysia. From the time he became the heavy user of the Grab, and he said IT service development in Malaysia, from that time he became very surprised and become a very heavy user. Can see how the Gojek Grab working in your phone exactly. So there are lots of contents the app has, and food and service and transport. Of course, it has delivery and pay bills and finance and attractions and hotel. He suggested, and he has the home service, and there's the gift cards and rewards it has. So if you use the Grab, you can have the very useful facility and useful contents you can use. So academically, the Grab's case study is one of the successful examples, which traditional taxi supply chain was evolved very significantly to the digital supply chain. And by applying for the advanced IT and platform technology, Grab created the disruptive innovation in traditional business domain and introduced the new business model such as digital supply chain. So ultimately, Grab does not have any car assets in the company like an Airbnb, which does not own any tangible hotel assets. However, through the condition of drivers and passengers and other market participants, Grab become a leader of orchestra in creating unique value for the customer in digital supply chain. So it is all about the connection of supply chain participants in only one mobile app. For instance, once the passenger placed an order on the Grab app, Grab will match this order with the nearest and available driver. This is related to not only shorter the waiting time of passengers, but also reduce the demands uncertainty faced by driver. Therefore, Grab is helping meet the demands and supply through the state-of-art platform business in order to generate the new type of jobs. So the Grab is claimed by corporate social responsibility and multi-app, and the several exploratory analysis suggested that digitalization, digital transformation supply chain will be enforced by trust building among the supply chain partners. So these multi So in a nutshell, Grab is enjoying its stable market growth and business position in Malaysia and Southeast Asian countries. So this is the analysis of Michael Porter's 5-process analysis model. And the Grab's threat is the largest and biggest inhaling company in Southeast Asia, and it is make the new investor have to invest huge amount of capital for being a new entrant and for competing the market and competing with Gojek from Indonesia in this region. So after acquiring the Uber, this is the analysis of the threat, and the threat of substitute is it has the closest competitor in the same industry, taxi service, so GoCar, Gojek, and self-driver. And the public transportation such as buses and metros are also be the potential substitution in Malaysia also. This kind of the threat of substitutes it has. And the other one is bargaining power of buyer. Bargaining power of customers pretty much low cause Grab is the monopoly economic status. And power of distribution channels quite low because the Grab app and similar app also can be easily installed. And the other one is bargaining power of supplier. It's very easy to become the drivers without considering about the education level and work experience. And also it is a very low entry barrier to become a driver, and the driver's bargaining power is limited because they are yet unioned or protected. And the other one is the industry library dominant market status of ride-hailing market in Malaysia. And after acquiring the Uber, Grab enjoyed the monopoly market status. So improvement and cost reduction will be key words. So this is the Michael Porter's 5 analysis in model. And let me introduce the digital supply chain of Grab's service. Grab is one of the representative examples with traditional taxi business. So it has the supply chain has very evolved and significantly in digital supply chain by using state-of-art technologies such as mobile app and IT infrastructures. In the traditional taxi service, the process of supply chain management is very complex and uncertain. Because the taxi company needs to hire a driver and provide a car to them to initiate the supply chain service. The passenger is required to call the drivers in order to match with the driver to meet his needs by himself. With a usage of the mobile platform between people, Grab innovated the process of supply chain and achieved a mutual benefit among the driver and passenger and Grab app services provider. Finally, it reached a quick response and lower transaction costs it had. There are only 2 relational networks in Grab supply chain structure. The relationship with buyers first, and the relationship with supplier through the Grab's everyday super app application. For instance, when it comes to the transportation service, the supplier and driver are the persons who supply the driving service, and buyer and passengers are persons who who demand the e-hailing service. Grab is the informational intermediary between the two and plays a critical role in linking two parties' needs as a platform to aggregate the service and create the unique value. So let me introduce the Grab's best practice. Grab has several best practices, he adds. Malaysian e-hailing market. Before 2018, in Malaysia, there were two e-hailing service companies, Grab and Uber. With Grab's acquisitions of Uber's Southeast Asia business in 2018, it is very surprised. Grab has grown dramatically and its monopoly market status has gradually appeared. After acquiring Uber's business successfully, Grab's local market share surged from 50% to 80%, which is almost enjoying the monopoly, setting strong barrier to new entrants to compete with Grab in order to maintain that number one market share. As a matter of fact, the actual fares rose by 20% to 50% on average. During the peak time, the price can be even 2 times higher, which leads to those who rely on e-hailing services. So the passengers and customers have no choice but to accept the higher price. So if you look at this graph, it is show you the market share comparison between Grab and its competitors. Grab used its market dominance to impose several restrictions on its drivers to prevent drivers from providing advertising service to Grab competitors in the e-hailing and traffic media advertising market. So support from Malaysian government is one of the factors that has helped Grab monopolize relationship management. There are several suppliers in Grab including driver, restaurant, and marts who provide grocery, insurance companies, express service, and hotel, and so on. The first of all, main supplier of Grab are the Grab drivers. To have a safe driver, there are a few requirements that a Grab driver should fulfill. According to the Ministry of Transport in October 2019, all driver partners must comply the regulations stated to get smoother transition. Driver must hold a PSV license or they should have proof of passing the exam of which they must score more than 80% and above for the exam. They also should have the FoCoS.IDIC, which is a car inspection if their vehicle age is more than 3 years from the manufacture date. These regulations were effective on 1st November in 2019. And they introduced also Grab Care and Grab also helped the drivers to participate in continuous learning for drivers and basic driver training, but also necessary skills, the training such as financial planning, business management, vehicle maintenance, and defense driver skills, so on. Through the closer supplier relationship, Grab can easily achieve its goal to meet the customer's demand by working together as one team in this supply chain. Next one is customer relationship management. Um, as, as a company who provide e-hailing service mainly, the service that is provided to customer is a very important part for the company's sustainability. Grab assesses their supply chain performance by evaluating the quality of service provided in order to establish trustful customer relationship. Because of the face-to-face service characteristics which Grab saves, Grab uses customer feedback to evaluate their services. So this is a very important information source of observation that is a requirement to improve their supply chain performance. This information sharing will make the Grab's digital supply policy it has. So most of the Grab's users start to argue with the prices or fares charged by the Grab. People realize that the fares of Grab will be turned into higher or incredible amounts, sometimes due to the monopoly market status. The fare will always be charged by referring to the supply and demand fluctuations during the specific time period. So according to the Grab's reports, the price is always one of the biggest challenges from them. So this is because it is hard to make the balance between the opposing expectation for passengers and drivers. So passengers always want to have the lowest fares they want and quickly allocation and faster pickup, while driver will want to maximize their profit, of course. Thus, the Grab needs to take the responsibility to find the right price point to benefit both sides. So this figure above shows you the example the fares that charged by the Just Grab, and Just Grab is charged by base fare, the fare per km, the fare per minute, minimum fare, the toll charge are not included. So however, this figure show that these fares are flexible due to the demands and supply, and as Grab is this, the new technology adoption. And the Grab has implementation few of new technologies in its app. Firstly, Grab has implemented Google Map in its app. Google Maps are performed as mapping and geolocation functions. Thus, it is very important because it can identify the device or player's place or location, and it can provide the driving directions. And this is the last page of my presentation and discussion and conclusions. Based on macro and micro business environment analysis, although there are some challenges facing Grab, but the potential growth of market show that they are very organizing well in the right direction. And Grab has been using digital supply chain logistics to make connection between driver and passengers. And Grab established their supply chain strategies based on right service, right time, and right quality and right price to become very highly successful e-hailing app. So to gain trust between the driver and passengers, Grab has made efforts on their practice in their supply chain management, and it has made Grab improve their recognition and increase market share together with operating in many countries. And Grab also focus on their sustainability toward their drivers and the community in order to make a variable contribution to society. This practice done by Grab will achieve their mission and vision and make for an excellent case study. So